What's up, cave dwellers? I'm Darren the Mando.
I'm Brendan, and I'm Leroy Jenkins.
I don't think you are, though.
Leroy Jenkins!
Either way, we are your hosts today, as Gabe is in Denver. They are comic book shop hunting. Hopefully one of these next episodes you guys will see that. Let's take our helmets off. Mine's fogging up. Got hot breath. And I'm sure the thing is hot and itchy. First off, I want to say thank you to our sponsor. That's RPG, rpghiring.com. Go check them out. And today, we have a special episode for you since I just received this. This magic black cloth here, actually what's behind it, this is actually going in my cave, but I thought it was amazing and special enough to show off on the show today. This was made by my good buddy Derek and his dad. He is the last resin bender. And I guess we can reveal it, can't we? Yes, I know this is you can't see it in the reveal, but you will. You will see it. You will see it. This is a resin art table. It is, I don't know, a few inches thick. But you know what? We actually have Derek on the show with us today as a special guest.
Via satellite feed.
Via satellite feed. This is Derek. He's my good buddy. I've known him for a while now. He's actually makes tables, and we play games all the time. He's one of the ones that we are in Discord like every night playing games. So it just turns out he makes really awesome tables with his dad, and they are the Craftsmen of the Cove. But we figured we'd showcase the table here for you today.
It's quite impressive.
I mean, it is, no doubt about it. But you know, since we have Derek on here with us, and he is the one, him and his dad are the ones that made it, we're just going to ask him some questions on how he made it, and you know, maybe he can talk to us about it. This is not like obviously it's not like a video where you see like somebody making it. I'll throw some little shots here or some pictures here and there in while he, you know, talks about the process, but we're not cool enough to actually do video. He's kind of one of these people who's like, he starts a thing and he's like, I forget to pick up my phone. I just get after it. So Derek, you know, where did the idea come from for this table?
It's been a while since we had done a project, and my dad, he originally wanted to do 2 end tables with that wood right there. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, no, that's going to be a coffee table. And we had started to dabble in like doing a galaxy look to things, and I wanted to go a little bit further with it than just doing a normal galaxy table. I was like, what if we do something a little different and go ahead and put like X-Wings and TIE fighters fighting in the table and make it look like a Star Wars theme, like a space battle. And so I honestly, I told you about it before I even told my dad. So my dad was like, wait, we're doing what now? As soon as I told him. So he didn't know, but like I had already had it set in my mind that this table was going to happen. And so the idea was kind of just like a last minute idea, and I ran with it.
But before that though, let's take it on a little further back. This is not the first thing that they've made for me. My desk, my computer desk that I game on and I compute on, is actually they made it as well, and it was the first table they made because they actually started off making a lot smaller pieces, you know, stuff to hang on the wall, stuff to sit in in your kitchen.
I got a mold right next to me of a cross that's being made. So like we just started off doing small stuff like this, and one day Darren sends me a picture of this desk, and it's a river epoxy table, and he's like, yo, these are so cool, but they're asking like $10,000 for that table. And I showed my dad, I was like, there's no way that costs $10,000 to make. And so at that point, me and my dad accepted that challenge, and I think I'm not going to give an exact number, but we way undershot that.
Oh yeah, I didn't pay $10,000 for my desk.
No.
But it was their first one. I would say it's not perfect, but I love it. And I'll have a picture here. I'll show you guys a picture of it here on the screen. And it's not, like I said, it's not perfect, but I love it. I wouldn't have another desk. Maybe one day if I outgrow said desk, I'll have them make another one. But
we actually learned a lot from that desk, because we'd never done something of that scale before. So working with small things, epoxy works different, but whenever you scale it up like that, epoxy gets hot, and we found little things that we use nowadays. Like to this day, we use little tricks that we learned off of making that first table.
Right, and that's what I was going to say. Is you guys went from little stuff, like literally handheld stuff here, and you guys made your kitchen table, your dining room table at your house, and it's basically just some wood that's been planed out, really pretty wood. But they just, like where the creases are in it and stuff, they would add a little epoxy here and there. So just a little bit of work in there. But when they jumped to such a big scale, says my desk, which is, do you remember how big that desk was? Was it like 5 foot, 6 foot?
No, it's basically a dinner table. I think it's 6 foot by 3 foot.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah,
it stuck out of the back of the bed of my truck, and I had to carry it exposed 8 hours home. So jumping from the table, the desk, which is really good. It really was. There was just some little bubbles in there that you guys didn't. But to this is just, because this is your second big project like that. There's no bubbles in this. Just some micro ones you can't even see. It is just beautiful. It's a huge upgrade, and I think that this is just the first steps as, for the Craftsmen of the Cove to go even bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, hopefully.
But I would be curious if I'm looking at this video. So I have a couple questions for you here. Maybe the viewers want to know as well. So, first off, where did the wood come from?
Okay, so we actually cut down the trees. So we will go out, and that wood that you have right there, that's mesquite, which down here in Texas, that's where we're at. There's it's more of South Texas thing, but they're shrubs. And when you find a mesquite that is big enough and tall enough, you don't really run across them too much. But my uncle has a large ranch that we go out and start looking for trees. And when we find one, we'll cut it down. And my neighbor, we use his wood shop. He actually has a milling machine that I sent you a picture of, so you should have a picture of that. And we'll cut the boards into like either whatever we want, so like 2 inch, 2 1/4 inch pieces. So we mill it, and then we actually dry the wood. So whenever you dry wood, you can either do it the natural way, which you just leave the wood out in the sun, and it takes about a year to dry. But we actually built a kiln that's 10 foot long, so we can have 10-foot boards in there, and it can dry out a piece of wood within, I would say, a week. So basically, instead of having to wait an entire year for our wood to cure, we're able to do it within a week. And basically, when wood cures, you're just killing all the insects that live in it, and just making sure that everything's straight and everything's dead on the inside. You don't want bugs living in your wood.
It's not just, we went and picked this stuff up from Home Depot, this, that, and the other. No, they actually went out and cut the tree. They walked around through on the ranch and, cut the tree down itself, planed the tree, got everything ready, did everything themselves, sanded it all, did everything themselves. So it's really cool that they've local sourced wood, I guess. I don't know if that's
Think about mesquite, Darren. So I don't know if you, I saw you try to take a drill bit to a mesquite board once, and I don't know if you want to tell them how that went, but
it tore my drill bit up, and I walked all over the place because this wood is ridiculously hard and extremely heavy.
Yeah, and but it also just gives a beautiful maroonish color too. That's what I love about it. You're basically taking the trash wood that a trash tree that nobody wants and turning it into art with mesquite.
That's art, man. What were you gonna say?
And this is an interesting layout. What was your process for coming out with the layout and everything?
So, like I said, it started off, it was going to be 2 end tables where my dad, so the edges, he was going to slap those together and then cut it down the middle. So, I was just like, no, we're flipping that on the inside. And then I just found 2 more mesquite pieces that I thought would be work as islands, because based on the size of those, there was going to be a huge gap in the middle I mean, if those two pieces in the middle weren't there, you could see the gap that would be there. So I wanted just to have a little more something, a little more wood to give like more pathways. Like say they're fighting in a meteor shower or something. There's just twists and turns everywhere.
And did we say it was Star Wars? Because I mean, look, there's got a couple X-wings here. You have a TIE. What did we say? It's a TIE Interceptor. Is it Interceptor or Defender? I don't know. I'm smooth brain. You have a TIE fighter. You have another TIE. You have a blue leader here. You have a TIE there, and you have. Tell us about this this TIE fighter getting eaten by a space octopus.
Okay, so I'm gonna sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, but y'all are the Star Wars people. So what is the episode where I think they're pod racing and you can see like an octopus like grabbing at ships? Or I specifically remember something in Star Wars where there was like an octopus like grabbing stuff.
Well, in episode 1 or the Phantom Menace, they're underwater, and they're going from one side of Naboo through the planet core to the other side, and there's always a bigger fish. There's several monsters they're fighting there, and then the Millennium Falcon escapes from the space slug on that asteroid, which was big though. It came out of the hole.
Yeah, that might have been what I was thinking.
The giant space slug.
So basically, there was a hole right there in the epoxy, and I was like, I know I've seen stuff like this in Star Wars before. I was like, it would be super cool if we could just get like octopus
Something
tentacles
grabbing,
and
yeah.
like it wants just something grabbing one of the TIE fighters. I mean, because like you said, it's the Star Wars universe. Like the Star Wars universe, there could be anything out there.
Anything and everything. I mean, it's cool. I love it. And, you never know what you're going to find in Star Wars flying around, and especially in an asteroid field like this, or it's kind of what
It's
field is.
funny. I don't know if y'all are gonna get a close up of it, but that octopus is actually grabbing one of the TIE fighters, and we wanted to break the TIE fighter, but I was like, I really don't want to break it and mess it up too much. So instead, we had him shoot off a laser, so it's kind of like his last act of defiance as he's being dragged into the octopus's den. Yeah.
Yeah, before he breaks it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny because when we were talking about this has been going on for several months now. I mean, how long did it take to was the process of this whole thing like mid last summer?
I think the last I looked on my phone, I can see pictures like September of last year.
So this has been going on since September of last year, and we, I don't remember exactly when we decided, all right, we're going to do Star Wars with the ships, but it took a long time to do research on which ships would not melt with the resin, because resin actually gets very hot, like you said, and it will melt them. Because I've seen people try to use like the micro machine, like the flimsier plastic, and it just melts it. Like all of the ships all bent and stuff, and these are actually a resin cast ship from what is that game? Like a D&D for Star Wars type of thing.
Like a miniatures.
Yeah, miniatures game. Yeah, not D&D. What's the other one? Warhammer. It's like Warhammer for Star Wars. I found them at a hobby shop and mailed them to him. So these are actually a higher quality pre-painted resin ship. So even cooler. So they didn't melt. And they stayed good. So if you're trying to do a project like this and you're looking for a ship to use that game. I don't remember what the game was called. Squadrons or I don't remember. You can find them at like any kind of gaming hobby shop where they sell Magic cards and Warhammer.
I'm drawing a blank on the name of it too.
Yeah, I can't remember. But they're good quality here, and he did a fantastic job on the layout and everything. And another cool thing to note is how thick it is and the depth of it. He didn't just lay the wood down on the bottom. So this table's, how thick was it? Like 3 inches thick?
I would say 3, 4, or 3 or 4. Because, I mean, the purpose behind that, so we actually poured 9 gallons of epoxy before we even started laying in the wood. And, I mean, if you look at it, and you'll see it when, like I said, when you get that B-roll, but it actually gives it more depth. So it actually looks more 3D, and like the ships are actually flying around in there, which I think it makes that table look so much better than if we would have just set the wood on the bottom.
So like he's saying, like when you look at the table, and video will never do this thing justice. So I'm hoping the B-roll does do this thing just just perfect. But when you look at it, because you can actually see there's a gap below the wood here, and I may end up throwing lights on this backside that you can't see just to shine through at some point. But when you look at it, you can actually see kind of at an angle underneath the pieces of wood here where they actually painted or resin this galaxy in the background here in the stars, and every little white dot you see was actually, would you guys take a toothpick with white paint and just dab every single little star there? And it's all through the whole back of the board. So some of this you can't even see, but that's what gave it the 3D feel to it. And he added a little moon here, or a little planet or moon, I don't know what you want to call it, but they're glow in the dark, and I want to say part of the background is glow in the dark a little bit as well, right?
Yeah, and so that little planet there that you pointed out, so you can only see half of it from the top, but if you hit it from a side, you'll see the full planet. And so, like, we didn't just stop with all the stars and the epoxy, like right where you see it. So, like, if somebody does see it from an angle, you would still see the galaxy, and it just gives it, like I said, more of a 3D look.
Definitely does give it that. And they used what was the type of resin you guys used on this again?
So it was, I can't remember the exact name of the brand, but basically whenever you look up a resin, UV light is basically the enemy to a resin because it'll start to turn it yellow. And there are certain higher quality resins that you can buy that don't get affected by UV light so much. Let me see. Are one of the bottles over there? No, we don't have any more of those. I think we used them all. Your table drank them all up. But yeah, we just looked up a non UV affected resin, so that, I mean, if you're gonna spend this much on a table and put this much work into something, you don't want it to turn yellow eventually because of UV light. It was actually, you were pointing at one of those X-wings there, the one that's right next to your hand.
Right here, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if you can notice, but one of them doesn't have a cockpit. And let me explain that. So we were pouring a layer, and my dad looks down and goes, this X-wing doesn't have a cockpit. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, it's upside down. And I was like, okay. I was like, how are we gonna fix this? How are we gonna fix this? Because it's already hardened at this point. And I'm like, you know what? He's doing a barrel roll. So we put enemy lasers shooting over him. And we had to buy another one. So we went on Amazon, and shout out to Amazon Prime for these little figures, because they sent the other X-Wing that's right next to him. They sent it out in 2 days. And so we were able to put him in there. So yeah, that's his wingman now. And he's doing a barrel roll to dodge the laser.
And you can see the lasers just kind of flying through, and they're flying, and they're just.
So we did run into some hiccups on this table, but we found ways around them, and I think it actually made it kind of cooler.
It definitely did. I have no issues with this thing at all. It is fantastic. I didn't, I couldn't have asked for a better looking table than this. Really, I mean, it's killer.
If I've told you, but do you know what we built the lasers out of?
You did tell me, yeah. You can tell
I did?
You told me, but you can tell me too.
So the lasers so the original plan was to buy little Star Wars figures, like the figurines, and chop up the lightsabers to use as lasers, but I was like, that's going to get a little expensive. And so we used Weed Eater line. You honestly couldn't tell, but we lined it all up, straightened them out, and now they're shooting Weed Eater line. Who would have guessed?
It works.
It works. I mean, it really does. You would never know unless you wouldn't. You can't tell it's Weed Eater line at all.
And luckily, dude, they actually played a Star Wars movie while we were working on this table, because we almost had the X-Wings shooting green lasers and the TIE Fighters shooting red lasers when it was the exact opposite. And we had to pause the movie. We're like, whoa, hold up. Hold on, what did I just see?
And tell me about the top coat here, because it is beyond shiny, and half of our cameras do not work because it is so reflective.
Okay, so the shininess. So first thing, we sand it with probably 5 or 6 different sandpapers. We worked our way from 80 grit all the way up to 3,000?
I believe so.
Yeah, which at that point you're just wet sanding. So it's going to give it more of a glass finish, but it's still going to be a little foggy. and I sat. I probably
Wait,
spent
how many
hours.
times did you? How many times did you do that process?
That
though?
process, 3 or 4.
Messed up, did it?
Yeah.
Messed up, and then did
Oh,
it
yeah,
again. Messed up, and then did it again.
I mean, it had to be perfect. I mean, once the table like started looking really good, there was going to be like no turning back. Like if we messed up, start it over till we get it right. Like just keep going. And it got to the point where we sanded everything and it was all good. Now we just needed to polish it, and I didn't really have a good polisher, so I was sitting there with a sock on my hand and like a polisher, like trying to like give it like just the ultimate like scrubbing that I could, like putting as much muscle and vitamins into that push as I could. And I have a buddy, well actually he's a mutual friend of both of ours, and he lives here in San Antonio and he details cars. And so I called him up. I was like, "Hey man, could you bring one of your detailers over?" And he was like, "Yeah, I got you." And he brought it over, and I swear he went over it once, and that table, it started shining. And as soon as he went over it, I was like, "Wow."
You got somebody who runs his own paint correction and ceramic coating, and come and do it on a resin table, and it just.
So yeah, he came over, polished it, and it was looking really good. And I remembered, I was like, he still owes me a ceramic coating, which, if y'all don't know, ceramic coatings are like the new thing to protect your cars. It'll make them hydrophobic. So like if you were to throw, like your car gets wet, water will just run right off, and it's just an extra layer to protect your car. Well, my buddy, he was supposed to do my windshield, and I was like, you know what? How's about we just do this table instead? Because I could see people putting down drinks, and then you're going to get ring spots and stuff like that. Well, now his table's ceramic coated, and so if any water's on it, it'll just slide right off. Like the water, it is super hydrophobic.
I would honestly show it, but it's not going to show up on these cameras. So you just it'll run right down.
Squirt it with water, it's just going to run right off.
So I'm sure what everybody's wondering, if someone wanted one of these. Say wanted to commission you to make one of these, how can they get a hold of you?
So right now we actually don't have anything up right now, but we are working on it. We're actually gonna be making an Etsy account, and I mean probably we'll just call it the Craftsmen of the Cove. That's what we've been going with. And so sadly, as of now, we don't have anything up, but we are working on something. Like we will start posting stuff we make, because we make a lot more than just tables. I mean, we do crosses, we do charcuterie boards, we've done cutting boards, we break down wine barrels and turn them into wine, like the wine staves from the barrels, where it is held, like the stave is actually held up with 2 bottles, and you can actually put the wine glasses, and it's just a super fancy way to store your wine. We make a lot of tables and end tables, and just basically anything you can think of with wood.
It's him and his neighbor, and they share a shop. Mike is the other one there that works with him, and Mike makes chairs too. So I mean, if you're not just looking for that, Mike makes these really cool. What are they called? What are the chairs called?
What are those chairs called? The Adirondack chairs.
Adirondack chairs. Yeah, that's right. I picked one up the other day. I just left Derek's house last weekend with this, and I grabbed myself a chair as well. So
I hated to see that table go.
Yeah, I mean they've been using it done for like a month now. And they've been using it in their living room, just like look at my new coffee table.
Got the old coffee table. It's just not the same.
You gotta make yourself one now. Put something else in it.
Actually, we are making another one.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, we're actually working on a Star Trek one, and we have some black walnut that we're thinking about doing another coffee table, but instead it's going to be the like the speed racers, like it's going to be a desert theme, so it's going to be a black wood, and we'll put like sand at the bottom, and we'll have all the pod racers racing through the table.
Star Trek or Star Wars?
No, we're going to do both. The Star Trek that one's a commission from one of my uncles. But
so you're doing a Star Trek table like this, and then you have another plan to do a pod racer table, which I talked to your dad about the pod racer table, which is going to be cool. So instead of like space, it's going to be like sand at the bottom and pod racers like racing through. So
and
that's just you guys are wanting to work on something. That's not been commissioned, right?
No, that's just us.
So if anybody's actually interested in said pod racer table, that's like one of their next things, within the next year or so.
Yeah.
Probably
it might be a little
while.
Might be a little while, but it'll definitely be something.
Hey, if you're watching this video and you want a new coffee table, a really, really awesome resin art table, and you're into pod racing, I'm just saying I know who to that'll do it for you, and it really fantastic. And if you
Comes
that's right,
out too.
and if you guys want anything else, any kind of crosses or charcuterie boards, I can never say that word right, cutting boards or chairs or literally anything else from a small business of locally sourced wood and other materials, hit them up, man. Craftsmen of the Cove, and they will definitely be making an Etsy and I'm sure other social media soon.
I've been planning to, man, because I've had so many people asking for business cards and stuff like that. We just need to do it. So many people
You need to
asking
make
for
yourself
our
some
work.
business cards and Etsy and make your an Instagram account. I'm sure a lot of people on here would probably want to follow you.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I always love just going on and looking and seeing what people make out of wood and resin. Just do like little bits of B-roll while you're making it. It doesn't even have to add up to anything. Just you cutting wood.
I know. I needed to learn how to do time lapse stuff. But like I said, as soon as we start working, like it's all hands on deck. We're focused on it, and then it's like, oh, we'll take some photos afterwards. I never even think about it in the moment. It's more like you're so focused on what you're making in the moment that I don't know. I need to work on it. There's definitely some stuff.
Oh, for sure. Now, you know what time it is, don't you, Brandon?
I do.
It is time to give away some cards. And boy, do we have a lot of stuff to give away this week. If you watched last week's episode, I hope you did, because you're going to be one of the people that we give away something to. Last week was the Todd McFarlane and McFarlane Toys, and we had Gabe and I went and found some toys locally, and we've got a Zavala from Destiny and a Harry Potter from Harry Potter. I don't even know which one this is from. It doesn't say. I believe it's the one where he freaks out in the swamp and he thinks he sees his dad, but it's really himself. Pretty sure. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan. And I believe this is Johnny Lawrence from Cobra Kai. And we're going to be giving away all three of these, as well as the 3 cards and the Cave Dweller loot box. So 7 things today. Right now, actually. We're giving away all 7 of these. And then we're going to do the artist showcase for next week. That's wild. What is this show? We're just giving away stuff the whole time. That's all we're doing. And if you're wondering, Brandon, I don't know, man. He goes MIA a lot. He said, hey, man, I'm going to go get a drink.
1 hour later.
He's MIA again. Brandon, please, stop this. Stop this, man. But I'll be honest with you, since Brandon's not here to give me the winners, I'm going to have to ask Derek to do it. Derek, can you write those down on a piece of paper and hand them to me?
Yeah, Brandon actually gave me the paper before he left. I know I said it here somewhere. Actually, wait, Alfred, do you have the paper? Okay, there. Here's the paper for you.
All right. Oh, look, there it is. Sweet. Okay, all right. So we got a paper here. This is blank.
You gave me the wrong one, Alfred.
Oh, jeez.
1 second, Darren. We'll get that right.
It's good. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. And the Zavala winner is right here. This is the Zavala winner. And then we're going to do the Harry Potter winner, and that is right here. Congratulations to you two for winning the Todd McFarlane Toys statue things. And then the Johnny Lawrence Pop winner is right here. And now we get to give away some cards. And these cards were from Tone Rodriguez last week. Those are some fantastic cards. I actually don't have them in my hand right now. I'm doing some pictures of them, so if you want, I'll get those mailed out to you as soon as I get done taking the pictures of several of the artist cards of Series 1. And the first winner is this person right here. Second winner is this person right here. Third winner is this person right here. And Derek, where's the loot box winner at?
He's right here.
Oh, okay, right there it is. Congratulations to all 7 winners. That is crazy. This is the biggest giveaway we've done, and I'm sure they will honestly just keep getting bigger and bigger because we have so much stuff to give away because we like to open up stuff for you guys, and we don't necessarily want to keep it all. So, with that being said, because that was a lot, we'll keep these right here, the Todd Father Toys and Johnny Lawrence himself. And we have to do this week's cards, man. We got to do them. And this week our spotlight is Ashley Harp. And we made full circle. I think we have 1 or 2 artists maybe that have not sent theirs back for Series 1. We're waiting on that, and we're hoping to get those back pretty soon so we can get those out. And we already have artists Series 2 working on, and I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with the Instagram and Facebook. I'm sure you've seen a couple of these Series 2. Fantastic work. And this week, like I said, we're going to have Ashley Harp as the spotlight again. And these are honestly some of my favorites. They're all my favorites, honestly, guys. I can't say that I have one. I'm not picky. I just like art cards, man. I really do. But we have Evil Ray here with her boomerang lightsaber thing. We have Captain Marvel, as Brandon would say, the fake Captain Marvel. We have Nick Fury, the One-Eyed Wonder. Got ourselves a Spider-Man. Looks like a Tom Holland Spider-Man taking a selfie. We got a baby Groot. We have a Wolverine here. We have a Wonder Woman. And I mean, I'm going to go ahead and say it. This one is my favorite for this week, and I don't know how nobody chose this one, or I don't know why nobody chose this one when they won the cards last time. But my goodness, that Darth Maul is just, I'll be honest with you, Chief. That's it. That's it, Chief. So my favorite's a Darth Maul. Hopefully you guys like this. Make sure you check out Ashley Harp. Derek, which one is your favorite? Big Darth Maul fan, yeah. That's it, Chief. I mean, you can't go wrong with that, honestly. Like I said, make sure you check out Ashley Harp. That's Ashley Harp on Instagram, Facebook, and Etsy. It is Ashley Harp Fine Fan Art. Hopefully I said that right. There's a lot, like really big. We'll have it right here either way, and down in the description. And as always, make sure if you win one of the cards, or if you won these here, make sure you get with us. Make sure you send us an email. Make sure you get with us and say, hey, I'm the winner. Let us know. Show us that you're the winner. And you've got, if you are first, second, or third, and you've got someone behind you, you have a week to choose which one you want if you hadn't already chosen or gotten with us. Therefore, we can make sure that the people behind you also get theirs out in the mail. We're not waiting 3 or 4 weeks before we get these things mailed out. And if you're a winner and you don't get back with us within 2 weeks, we're going to have to just keep moving on. So hopefully you guys watch enough to claim your cards that you've won. It would be a shame. And we want to thank the sponsor again. That's RPG Hiring. Give them a look up, check them out, and want to thank Derek for making me this fantastic table that was on the show today. And thank you for being on the show as well, Derek.
Thanks for having me, man. I had a good time.
You can hit him up on you can hit him up on Instagram. I'm sure he'll be active with that and respond to messages and whatnot. Because that's all they've been doing lately. They just love to do it. It was started as a hobby, and I've convinced them that they probably should sell some of the things rather than just stack them in their living room. All the resin work that they've been doing. So they've kind of been waiting on some craft shows or flea markets or whatever. I don't know what you call it where you live, but
Shows.
Yeah, and if you want to, they've been waiting on that. So, and that hasn't happened because of everything going on. So they've just been stacking up all these projects they've been working on. So if there's anything you're interested in, make sure you hit them up. Or if you're interested in the pod racer table or anything, we talked about the wine barrels and everything like that. If you're interested in any of that stuff, hit him up, let him know, and I'm sure he'll be posting up on it in the future. Or if you're around the San Antonio area, San Antonio, Houston, whatever, in that area, which would be even better. You could probably just here's you something or another, because that's where they're at. So
Answer questions or anything like that.
it would probably be a lot better to pick up a table being local than it would be driving 8 hours. Not that it's bad, and I got home fine with it, but that was a long drive. So thank you for being on the show. Tell your dad I said thank you for the table, and tell Mike thank you for the chair. It's been
It was
great.
a pleasure
Glad
building it, man.
Oh yeah, glad you're on here. We don't have Gabe to say bye today, but I'll probably be seeing you later tonight on Discord. We'll probably play some Rainbow Six or something. So until then, we'll be seeing you.